Hello, my loves. Welcome back to the Balanced Blonde podcast, Soul on Fire. Today we have the fabulous Jim Curtis on the podcast, someone who I'm very excited to share with you. He is someone who I met just a few months ago when we hosted a webinar together for the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, where I went to nutrition health coaching school 6 years ago and set me on the path to everything that I do now in the health and wellness industry. And I'm so grateful to IIN for everything that I learned and have been able to integrate into my life. So Jim is the head of brand at IIN, and when we did the webinar together, I learned so many incredible things about him that made me know that I had to have him on the podcast to share him with you guys. Jim has also overcome chronic illness. I say also because if you're new to this podcast, I have had Lyme disease for many years and have been battling this terrible chronic illness. It's been very challenging, but it's also been the most awakening experience of my life. So Jim has been battling Lyme disease and other mysterious chronic illnesses for many, many years, for more than 20 years. And he wrote a book about it called the Stimulati Experience. And he also does so many incredible things. He talks about the anti-inflammatory mindset. So even beyond the anti-inflammatory diet, Jim studies and talks about mindset. And in this episode, we talk a lot about the anti-inflammatory mindset, which I find so fascinating. And he gives so many tips for how to live a healthy and healing life. He also is a hypnotherapist. Like I said, he's the head of brand at IIN. So we talk about nutrition school, his role at nutrition school, how they found him, what to expect in health coaching school, all that good stuff. And we just kind of chat openly about what it's like to have a chronic illness, what he's learned about healing, what I've learned about healing. We touch on a lot of different alternative therapies. We share a love for health and wellness retreats and spas and diets and the different ways that we have learned to live and manage chronic pain, to live with and manage chronic pain. He also has a fabulous TED Talk called The Cosmic Algorithm, which is all about basically life being a series of perfect events at the perfect time. So definitely do yourself a favor, listen to his TED Talk. It's all about signs. We love signs on this podcast, from numbers to animals to any little sign that you can find in your everyday life. My signs, for those of you who don't know, are the number 201, which has been a big sign in my life for a really long time. Purple butterflies, the color purple, the color blue, the color yellow, which might sound like a lot of things, but when they show up in different places, I just know that they all mean something. In Jim's TED Talk, he talks about finding a penny and the significance of pennies and abundance and that sign. And right after I finished this conversation with him, I went on a walk with my dad, who many of you know, best person ever, and we found a penny in the middle of the street. And it was just so perfect because we had just been talking about signs. So I'm excited to share this episode with you guys and talk all about the anti-inflammatory lifestyle and mindset, how to live an alkaline lifestyle, how to heal from chronic pain, chronic illness, and turn your greatest challenges into your greatest gift and tools for spiritual awakening. So I can't wait to share this with you. Also wanted to let you know that the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, IIN, is opening for their summer semester, which it technically started on July 20th, which is this week, but you still have a couple weeks to sign up and get in on that summer semester. You can either do a 6-month fast track program or a 12-year program, which is what I did. And we have a special offer for all of our TBB listeners. So if you go to integrativenutrition.com/thebalancedblonde, which we will also put in the show notes, You will get $2,000 off of your tuition if you pay in full. And if you do a payment plan, you'll get $1,500 off of your tuition. You will also get free gifts from me. You'll be entered into a giveaway with me. Lots of good stuff. So make sure you use that link, or just tell them when you call that Jordan Younger, the Balanced Blonde, referred you. And it's a very incredible program. It totally changed my life. I did a solo episode not that long ago about my health coaching journey, which you can find if you want to hear more about my journey. It's episode 182. Just about what I learned, how it changed my life, all those good things. And I think and hope that you will enjoy it. So I'm excited for you to dive into this episode with Jim. And if you're interested in health coaching, you can always feel free to reach out to me via email. I do my best to get back to all my emails, especially to our podcast listeners. So let me know if you're interested, if you have any questions, and I would love to help you out with that. We did a really fun free webinar about it last week, so I can send it to you even if you missed it. If you're interested. So let me know. My email is in the show notes as well, jordan@thebalancedblonde.com. So before we dive into this episode with Jim, I want to thank our sponsor for today's show, my absolute favorite green juice company, Organifi. So you guys know I am all about Organifi green juice. I love it. I drink it every morning. It tastes delicious. It's easy to drink. It includes a full spectrum of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. I really, truly think everyone needs to try it. It contains 11 different superfoods for detoxifying the body, all about protecting your immune system, which is huge during this time. It also promotes safe and healthy and balanced weight loss, which we talk about here. Weight loss is not a dirty word. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be your optimal weight, your ideal weight for your body. But what I love the most about Organifi green juice is that it provides all day immunity strengthening. So different things, different ingredients that are in it that I love are moringa, which is a healing herb. It's been used for centuries. It's rich in so many different vitamins and minerals. Ashwagandha, my favorite adaptogen. It's an Ayurvedic adaptogen that helps to rebalance the hormone levels in your body. Spirulina, my favorite. Spirulina is my favorite superfood, just so we're all clear. It has a lot of protein, iron, and calcium. And then it also contains chlorella, beets, turmeric, mint, wheatgrass, lemon, and coconut water. So it will give you a lot of energy, will hydrate you. It's dairy-free, gluten-free, keto-friendly, soy-free, and 100% vegan. It is also certified USDA organic, so everything that we need in order to be TBB approved. So to order any Organifi product today at 15% off, go to Organifi.com and use the promo code BLONDE. That is ORGANIFI.com, promo code BLONDE. Organifi.com, promo code BLONDE, 15% off. Try their green juice. They also have lots of other products that I know you will love. So enjoy. Tag me on Instagram as always so I can see what you're trying and what you like and all those good things. And now let's head into this episode with Jim Curtis. Okay, Jim, I'm so happy to have you here on the podcast. We did a very fun webinar together about 2 months ago, and that's when I really got to know you. And so many things were coming out of your mouth that felt like pure synchronicity. Like you had Lyme disease. We've had these very similar spiritual awakening journeys. We've had similar health journeys. And by the end of that webinar, I just wanted to learn more about you. So I, of course, had to have you on the podcast, and I'm so happy that you're here now. So if you could introduce yourself to our Soul on Fire listeners, tell us who you are. Yeah, a little bit about you.
Well, yeah, we learned we had a lot in common, didn't we? And that was a great webinar. And I'm super happy to be here. So I am the head of brand for the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, where you are a graduate of.
Yes.
And by the way, I love the name Soul on Fire. That's such an incredible name for a podcast. I love it.
Thank you. I love it too. I decided on the name because I had already had my blog, The Balanced Blonde, for like 4 years when I started the podcast. And I always felt like if I were ever to start a new blog, it would be called Soul on Fire. So I felt like, of course, it was perfect for the podcast. And to talk to people who have set their souls on fire is
that's great.
A dream.
And to light other people's souls on fire.
Exactly.
So I've been in wellness for 20 years. So I was on the media side of things and helped develop WebMD and helped develop Everyday Health and Remedy Health Media. And then from there, I started a pet health company that CBD dog treats called Hemp Vet. I wrote a book. I did a TED Talk and just have been inspired for the last 20 years around increasing my own wellness and the wellness of others. And IN found me, and that was real synchronicity. It was just the perfect combination. And since it's been so great, the school is such an amazing community of people.
So how did they find you? What was that synchronistic story?
I think they had seen an article that I had written, and they had recently, Joshua had stepped away for a little bit of retirement. Anybody that is an IN grad knows Joshua. Mm-hmm. And he's the founder. And 30 years ago, he founded this company in a small kitchen in Brooklyn. And it grew and grew and grew. And after 30 years, he's just stepped away. And they needed a new executive team to kind of fill the shoes and take the company to a new level. And they had read about me, and someone contacted me from there. But it's just everything. As we were talking, it was like, yes, sometimes you just know, you have that feeling in your chest, or that very clear feeling in your head that this is just going to happen. It's meant to be. Yeah.
And you've been with them now for how long? I know you told me.
A year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty amazing. IIN is such a fabulous program. And I know we have a lot of people listening who are interested in being health coaches or who are currently in the program. So we will get into that. But first, I want to talk about you. I watched your TED Talk this morning, and it was amazing. It was all about synchronicity and the power of signs and the universe and being at the perfect place at the perfect time.
At the perfect time.
So if you could share a little bit of that with us, I would love that.
Jordan, imagine if we could always be in the perfect place at the perfect time. And what I mean by that is, consider this. You can make your place wherever you are now the perfect place at the perfect time. Meaning our reality, this whole world, we create how we feel about it. So some people are feeling COVID-19 and quarantine. Some people are feeling really fearful about it. Some people are feeling really angry about it. Some people are feeling a ton of gratitude about it. Like, oh my God, now I have a new path in life, or now I have the flexibility from work from home, or now I have kind of a renewed respect for life because of the scare that I had about my health. So things like, because we can create our reality, that means that we can be in the perfect place at the perfect time all the time. Now, I also say in the TED Talk that if you are open and aware, meaning this takes a tremendous amount of awareness not to get caught in the matrix of this is what the definition of everything is given to us. If we start to be aware and say, oh, yeah, that's a societal norm, not necessarily has to be my reality.
Right.
Then you can start to see signs and things that almost like, if anybody ever watched The Matrix, there's a black cat that goes across the screen twice and he says, oh, deja vu. And they're like, there's no such thing as deja vu. That's kind of what I believe. You start to see things that are signs in your life.
Right.
And really, they're just normal, mundane things that you can start to wake up through and start to build your awareness through of like, oh, this is possible for me.
Totally. So if you don't believe in deja vu, what do you believe that feeling is? Like we've already been here before, or what?
I believe this is like a connected universe, right? I believe that energy is not created and it doesn't die. And therefore, there is just a connected universe. So you may feel like you know something because it's on the same vibrational level as you, if we want to get kind of hokey. But guys, everything down to the very atom, we're vibrating. We all have, our atoms are vibrating. Our whole body's vibrating. Everything that is made up of atoms is vibrating. So sometimes you just feel comfortable because you're on the same vibrational level of things. Or sometimes you remember things, or, this like has a good vibe in this room and you think it's the interior design. Maybe it is. Yeah. Or maybe it's just because you feel comfortable with the energy there. So, I believe that I study a lot of the Buddhist theories that perhaps we've been here before, and perhaps energy never stops, and we just keep going in a different form. Mm-hmm. And therefore, we kind of feel these things as deja vu, but really, it's just our awakening, our awareness of things that makes us feel those.
Yeah, I totally agree. And you can't get too out there on this podcast because we are very out there. So we are out there with you. You can say anything. Yeah. And I totally agree with that mentality. And it's so interesting. So how did you get set on your spiritual path of awakening?
Like most people, and probably like yourself, and like many of your listeners, my spiritual path was born out of trauma. Usually, people are often grateful for their issues because it wakes them up to something else. And although you'd never wish those issues on someone, you're happy because it's woken you up in some way or another, or kind of something, some higher power, or the universe, or whatever you want to call it, said, I'm going to put this roadblock here for you to smash into, because you need to smash into it so that you can see the road that's right to your right. Mm-hmm. And so that was my illness. When I was 20 years old, I woke up and I couldn't feel my feet. And I thought it was from a bicycle accident that I had, riding on. And I thought I crashed my bike the night before riding through beach sand. And it just got stuck in sand. I crashed I thought I had pinched a nerve or something. So when I woke up, I couldn't feel my feet. But it's no coincidence that kind of happened. And it alerted me to something terrible going on. I got an MRI, and there were lesions growing on my spine. Couldn't figure out what it was. And at the time, there was no tick bite. There was no bullseye rash. 20 years ago, they didn't have great tests for Lyme's disease. So, we really were confused about what it could be. And this tipped me off to something that was happening. So that was the start of it. I woke up and my feet went numb, and slowly it just started to develop. And a year later, I couldn't walk.
Wow. So the lesions on your spine, were those from Lyme disease?
We think so, right? So it was never diagnosed. I eventually had all the symptoms of Lyme disease. We think that it was maybe Lyme's disease kind of brought on something else or lowered my immune system enough where some other virus took shape. I did test positive once, and then it went away, and we know how tricky that can be. So it could have been a combination of things. And we know now that Lyme's disease often doesn't travel alone, right? There's Babesia and a number of other things that travel with it.
Exactly. So it's pretty rare to find someone who has Lyme disease who doesn't have anything else. I mean, right. Sometimes I think it's all so interconnected. I'm sure you feel this way too, being that everything is energy, and the way that you and I both approach the world in that way. Lyme disease is so similar to so many different chronic illnesses, diseases, viruses, infections. So it's very scary. And it's also scary that we don't really know how to heal from it. Many of us, we try so many things.
Jordan, have you tried bee venom therapy yet?
I haven't. I have thought about it so many times, and I have a few hesitations of my own, not because I don't believe in it, just because it's such a commitment, and I just got married, and I really want to have children soon, and I don't really want to go on this like a whole other like 3-year plus like dedicated journey. But I still might do it. Is it something that you believe in?
I haven't done it yet. It's like one of the one things that I haven't done. So, on my path, I've seen, and you probably have too, I've seen 200 different practitioners, everything from Ecuadorian shaman to grandmasters of Kung Fu. I've done I went to the Paracelsus clinic in Switzerland to get IV therapy of every kind.
Right.
I've done electromagnetic stuff. So bee venom therapy is kind of something that's emerging that I haven't tried yet, but I'm always asked because I'm interested.
I know. I think about it. And, talk about signs. I've been getting a lot of signs about it lately.
Really?
I don't know if you have TikTok, the app, but on TikTok, there's like all these people popping up on my Explore page who are doing bee venom therapy, who have become these TikTok influencers doing bee venom therapy. So it's definitely becoming more talked about. And people send it to me every day, knowing that I have Lyme. So who knows? I'm not opposed. We'll see.
Are you going to keep a hive of bees in your house and sting yourself with a bee?
I don't
know.
Scary.
I've been through some terrible things.
I know.
That's the scariest.
I have friends who do it, but I mean, my husband is deathly allergic to bees. So
oh my God.
I just don't feel comfortable. There's a few reasons why I just don't feel that it's perfect for me. But so of all the treatments that you've done, what do you think has worked the most, or what would you recommend the most to people?
It's the most abstract one. So, there are some, you can literally, what I found is that I could have gone on for another 20 years doing a new therapy every day.
Every day. I totally agree.
Day, right? And it's like, okay, yeah, I wrote a book about it because I wanted to start explaining some of these things. And then I, like Kismet, I got this job a year ago at IAN. I've heard about it for a really long time. And I'm like, okay, let me do some of these things. So I walk with a limp and have a lot of pain because of inflammation. And my nerves are spastic and my muscles are spastic. So I've done everything. And I, finally started at IAN. It's like, okay, bioindividuality is a big thing. And it's like, okay, some treatments may work for some people and not for others, or food. But I said, let me try the anti-inflammatory diet. Let me try an anti-inflammatory diet. Let me cut out sugar. Let me cut out all those things. And then what I really believe in is the anti-inflammatory mindset. Meaning, how do I cut out as much stress as possible? Like, I was in a relationship that was causing me so much stress, I couldn't walk. My nerves would just synthesize. I would get such spasms in my leg from anxiety and stress that, and I had to cut out relationships. I had to cut out sugar, and I had to cut out inflammatory foods. And I started to feel much better. Like the best thing. That was the best treatment for you. And it was like meditation and vegetables, and lower my sugar content, lower my alcohol. And I didn't need to go to the Paracelsus clinic and spend all this money on, some weird concoction of IV nutrients.
Totally. Yeah. So I want to hear more about the anti-inflammatory diet that you follow exactly, but also on the note of what you said about not needing to go to the clinic and do all that stuff. Do you feel sometimes that filling our life with all of these treatments, the way many of us who have chronic illness do, keeps us sick? Because I feel that way. Like when I'm spending all my time at the doctor's office doing incredible things, ozone therapy, hyperbaric chamber, IVs, ketamine IVs, everything. It's good for me, I know, for my body, but I just continue living on, feeling like a sick person, believing as a sick person. And it's sad. It's like this life where you just sit in this doctor's office all the time with these fluorescent lights. And that is my memory of the last 3 years of my life. So it makes me pretty emotional. And I don't want that anymore. So what are your thoughts on that?
I agree. And I think everybody with a chronic condition, like I have an aversion to hospitals and doctor's offices. If I have to give my medical history to a doctor again and have him like check my nerve function, I have such an aversion to it. Mm-hmm. So at the same time is, you have to start living. Mm-hmm. You have to start living, right? So, do the things that make you feel good. But if you're jumping after every new treatment, like ozone therapy I've tried, stick to some things that are your basics, I feel. Like my basics are, I need acupuncture every week. I need meditation every day. I need great connections with people. And then I sprinkle in some infrared heat and food and massage.
Yes.
Right. But it depends on where you are. Like, have you gotten your chronic condition under control and now you're living?
Right.
Or are you still letting it flame up, or it's still flaming up on you where you don't get out of bed? So it seems to me you're getting out of bed, you're getting married, you're doing things, you're great. You could probably stick to your basics now.
Sometimes I think so. And other days I can't get out of bed. And so that's what kind of scares me. Because I just don't want to be ignorant to what's happening in my body, and not do any treatments if I just don't want to get worse and worse. This is a terrible cycle. You understand, but diet helps me a lot as well. And everything you mentioned, actually, acupuncture, sauna, massage, but diet is huge for me. So what anti-inflammatory diet do you follow? Is it vegan or is it like pescatarian? What is it?
It's more vegetarian. I'm not eating, I haven't eaten red meat in a long time. I cut out the antibiotics, I cut out milk and dairy. I've switched everything with oat or almond. I'm doing things that lower inflammation, like eating a lot more blueberries, a lot more greens. So that kind of thing. Cut out. I like to keep an even alkaline level. So if I am going to drink coffee, I even it out with something else.
What do you even it out with?
Well, I'll even it out with like blueberries or banana or something like that. Something that has a different alkaline level. I went to, if anybody's looking to figure out like, how do I do the anti-inflammatory diet the best? We Care Spa.
I love We Care.
I've been going there for years. Did you like it?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It's my favorite place in the entire world.
It's great.
I spent a week there last summer, like this day, last summer, July 10th, I was there.
So you went after they renovated it?
Yes.
It used to be just her house. It used to be just Susanna's house. Then she renovated into this big place.
Yeah. I mean, it's beautiful now. So
gorgeous.
Yesterday was my mom's birthday and I got her a weekend there for her and I. So I'm really excited, but that's incredible.
It's great. It's really funny because We Care is about like getting the alkaline level perfect in your body and how juices can help you and like really respecting like your body's ability to heal itself. It's like we're on our iPhone all day. Our body is like 1 billion times more efficient and higher technology than an iPhone.
Right.
They really talk in basic terms. And what I love is like it's all about peeing on the stick. So they see where your alkaline levels are. And then everybody is like getting colonics and pooping. Mm-hmm. So when I went, it's all these beautiful people. Like, there's people that are have real issues. Like I was there for real issues, but then there's like a lot of famous people that you just scoff at.
Yeah.
And you're all in one place talking about pooping, basically. It's like, that's what you're there to do.
Literally.
So it's really, that's a really important part of health. It's like drink your water, sleep, and figure out how to poop.
Yeah.
But We Care Spa for the anti-inflammatory diet, you can go on their site and get a lot of information, but that's kind of how I learned.
That's incredible. Let's talk about my favorite hand sanitizer real quick. I know everybody is using a ton of hand sanitizer right now. And to be honest with you guys, I was completely avoiding it for a while because I don't do chemicals in my life. I don't do anything toxic. I am pretty fanatical about it. And I finally found a gentle and effective, completely natural, completely organic, and sustainable hand sanitizer from Public Goods. And I'm such a fan of Public Goods. I'm such a fan of everything that they do. They have so many different wonderful home goods, pantry items, etc. on their site that are all sustainable, all ethical, all good for animals and the environment, safe for humans, safe for animals. basically everything you need to be TBB approved. And that's getting harder and harder to do these days because I'm getting more and more and more of a stickler. So they have healthy ingredients with nothing to hide in their hand sanitizer, also in their hand soap, shampoo, conditioner. I've been switching all of my bathroom products and all of my home products over to Public Goods. Love that the hand sanitizer is paraben free. They're super transparent about what's in it and what's not in it. So, what's not in it is all the ingredients that you can't pronounce that you would find in any other traditional hand sanitizer. And what's in it is basically just alcohol, water, glycerin, aloe. Love that there's aloe in it, so it's gentle. It's not going to hurt your skin, your hands. I have super sensitive skin. So I'm crazy sensitive to that kind of stuff. So they have hand sanitizer. They also have hand sanitizing spray. And you guys, their hand sanitizer is only $7.50. Their spray is only $3.75. And it's a steal. It is fabulous. I love that it's affordable. We also have a special offer, as always, for our TBB listeners, which I will get to in a second, but it's publicgoods.com/blonde. We'll get to more of that in a moment. So you can become a member. The membership model keeps the cost really low and passes on even more savings. So you as a customer, when you're a member, you will get even more savings at Public Goods. And you can make your first purchase with no obligation. So if you don't know you want to be a member yet, that's fine. I love that they plant one tree for every order placed, and they've planted over 100,000 trees since September 2019, which is pretty incredible. So they have home products, like I was saying, they have kitchen products, they have reusable bags for your veggies that I like to bring to the farmer's market and to the grocery store. Love that they have pantry items. They have dishwasher detergent. They have laundry detergent. They have coffee filter baskets. They have basically anything kind of random and awesome that you need, you can get there. They have essential oils. They have travel. They have canned goods. And the prices are unbeatable. So check them out. Go to publicgoods.com/blonde to receive $15 off of your first Public Goods order with absolutely no minimum purchase. So they are so confident that you will absolutely love their products and come back again and again that they're giving you $15 to spend on your first purchase. So you have nothing to lose. So go to publicgoods.com/blonde to receive $15 off, and you will also find that link in the show notes. So let's head back into this episode with Jim and enjoy. Yeah, I was going to ask you about coffee because coffee is the one thing really that I have in my diet that I am so aware it's not perfect for my health. It's probably not doing me any favors, but I love it. And I do think there's something to be said for incorporating things that we love, as I've cut out so many other things on this health path. I haven't had alcohol in years, nor do I miss it, but there are other things that I miss. So I don't know. I think having coffee for me is nice, but it's helpful to hear that you balance it out with alcohol.
You know, I've tried yerba mate. I've tried to switch my coffee with yerba mate. Mm-hmm. I've gone green tea. Mm-hmm. I've gone decaf coffee. And, you know, I like caffeine. I like that little bit of caffeine. So I'm still doing that. You know, nothing's perfect. Mm-hmm. Some things just spark joy. And a lot of people say, yeah, it's not, coffee's terrible. It's like, okay, I've cut out sugar. I've cut out all these other things. And, you know, sometimes there's a little bit of in moderation there that I still do. Like, am I going to eat ice cream on a July afternoon with my son on Cape Cod? Hell yes. I'm going to eat that ice cream.
Sparks joy.
Yeah, it sparks joy. Sometimes that's, you know, that's why I say the anti-inflammatory mindset, like getting your mindset and your thoughts calmer and like not stressing over every little thing, sticking to your regimen, your routine, but not having to worry about every little thing will lower the cortisol levels in your body. And that may do more than an alkaline diet ever could.
I totally agree. And then I know we talked about this on the webinar a little bit. Oil because I was telling you how I'm oil free. What are your thoughts on oil?
Since you said that, I've read about it and I'm not oil free. So it's, I think I may have asked you about that because I had read an article and then I started to look more after you said it. So I don't even know how to start that. I don't even know how to go about that.
Yeah. So similar to We Care, where you learned the anti-inflammatory lifestyle, I went to a place called True North, which is a health center in Northern California, where they teach the salt, oil, sugar-free way of life as an anti-inflammatory diet for Lyme, for cancer, for many different things. And so I haven't really eaten oil in the last over 2 years. And for me, that's been a huge step in the anti-inflammatory pursuit in life. And I don't miss it. And it helps me. I have always had a lot of digestion issues. It helps me a lot with that. And the whole thought process is to not eat anything refined. So how oil is refined fat. Basically, it's only fat, just like a protein powder is just an isolated protein. And so, yeah, I don't miss it. I know there's many different schools of thought. So I wanted to hear your take on it.
I'm interested by it. It's another thing like bee venom therapy. I haven't done it yet.
Right. One of the
but I like to hear about it. Yeah, I'm really interested about it. Like, just it seems I would never be able to cook anything. I mean, because I'm not a great cook.
Mm-hmm. It's hard.
And,
People always ask me, how do you cook without oil? And you just get used to it. You can saute vegetables in water. You can bake vegetables with spices, just spices, and it tastes really good. So it's something that you just get used to, and it's very possible.
Well, maybe I'll look into that a little bit more, but I'm not promising anything.
And that's okay. It sounds like you're on a good path already.
What about metaphysical stuff, Jordan? What do you do for like metaphysical? Like, have you studied A Course in Miracles or anything like that?
Yeah. So A Course in Miracles always calls to me, and I'll open it up. I have it in my room, and I'll open it up when I feel like I need to and land on the perfect lesson always. And I'm very into Joe Dispenza, who a lot of what you say reminds me of Joe Dispenza, because it's all about energy. And when we change the frequency around us, we can change our life. So I try to do a Joe Dispenza meditation every day while I sit in my sauna and really just connect to that, to my soul outside of my body, because I know my body, like you said, is going through this because it's really a gift from the universe. So I always try to realign to that every day rather than feel so upset about how I feel, which can be a whole other spiral. So I do a lot of that kind of stuff. And I mean, I've done plant medicine a lot, ayahuasca. I've connected a lot to just my eternal soul. So I try to connect there to her every day and just know, okay, I'm going to be okay. This is all for a purpose. Life is not a game, but kind of to get out of the matrix. So that's kind of my philosophy.
Yeah. There are some people that are living in, oftentimes people will say, and so people write into me, especially after I say, you're in the perfect place at the perfect time. And they say, what about all those people that are dying? What about with the wars? What, are they in the perfect place at the perfect time? And what I say is that they can be, because it's not about your physical predicament. It's not that you're suffering or dying from cancer. It's that it's your reality that you create in your mind, like Joe says, or it's your connection to a higher power. So you kind of see some people that are going through the worst experiences, and somehow they become more grateful for life, or somehow it's woken them up and like they wake up earlier in the morning to see the sunrise, or to see the dewdrops on leaves in the morning make them emotional with such gratitude for being alive. Or in the evening when the sun shines through and hits the trees just at the perfect way, all of a sudden it's made their day because their reality has been opened up to the beauty and love of the world. And that's what Joe talks about. And it's possible to have that in any situation. So that's what we're talking about, the perfect place at the perfect time. And the science, like, you can open yourself up to seeing that. Now, Joe I love. He studied at the same school I did for NLP and hypnotherapy.
Oh, wow.
And he's a graduate. And so a lot of what he does in his meditations are neuro-linguistic programming. So it allows us to go deeper into our unconscious and actually start to unlock some of those things. Exactly what you do with ayahuasca. Mm-hmm. I did a ketamine trial, which over 6 sessions, I was in a chair, like in another world, like exploring the universe. And so those things assist us in getting there. And what Joe does is assist you through language and voice and putting you into your unconscious to get there through meditation, so that you can start to say, oh yeah, if this is a fabric and we're under the fabric and we can the fabric connects all of us, then, anything is possible, even happiness through trauma.
Right. Yeah, that's so true. So is that something that you still practice, the hypnotherapy?
Yeah, I hypnotize the team at IN all the time.
You do?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I asked them first. We haven't done it since we've been virtual, but I'll bring them into a room, 20 people into a room, and we'll do a hypnotic meditation, and I will plant some seeds in there. People always get out happy. So that, there's some tricks with hypnotherapy and other things that you can do, like you can plant the color green in there. So for a few days, every time someone sees the color green, they have like an incredible feeling of happiness. So I like to plant that in there every now and then. But there's a lot of neat things you can do. That's kind of what I've come across as something that interests me in my journey to say, how can you live an anti-inflammatory mindset?
Right.
That's getting into your unconscious and unlocking that childhood trauma, or getting over past life trauma, or whatever that trauma is that's holding you back that you don't even know about. Those kind of deeper meditations with kind of like hypnotic suggestions really help you get into that.
Yeah. Wow. So what would be your top tips for everyone listening to get into the anti-inflammatory mindset? Because that sounds like what we all need, versus like we can do all this stuff with diet and acupuncture and treatments, but the mindset is so huge.
Yeah. So here's what I think. Everybody's talking about meditation. It's because it works, right? Yeah. Meditation works, but you have to really commit to it. And at some point, it's kind of like a gateway drug. You want more. Mm-hmm. Right? You're like, okay, I want to get deeper. I've sensed something in meditation and I want to get deeper. So I would use specifically waves, sound waves, theta waves, beta waves, so that you can, that can help you get into a deeper state. So I'm forgetting the name for that now, but definitely use alpha or beta or theta waves so that you can get into a deeper state of meditation. And then, guys, if you have access to a hypnotherapist, I really think that you should try it, because it unlocks your unconscious mind. So those are a couple things. And what you can start to seed in there is, okay, I'm living in fear that's causing anxiety. And my fear is based on the stories I create. Someone's mad at me. I did something wrong and they hate me. It's usually self-perceived stories it's not true. It's because of a relationship or a situation that we put us in, and then we're projecting the future of it and being afraid of that, where it may not be true. We could be making it up. So this is a simple saying, is like, don't sweat the small stuff. Don't get wrapped up. Don't read the news every day and start to wonder how you're going to cure the world. Start small and like help the person next to you, and then broaden that out. Help your community. Those kind of things, instead of getting super excited about the big things that you can't control and super anxious about the small stuff that you can't control. Right. So I always live by the motto, God give me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Mm-hmm. And then I repeat, let go, let God. And then I repeat, live and let live. And that kind of hits everything. Like, I'm going to do what I can. And I'm going to be okay with not doing the things I can't. I'm going to let go of the control that I have because of fear. And I'm going to believe in a higher power is guiding me. And the third thing is I'm not going to worry about my neighbor because I'm going to worry that God has taken care of them and God's going to take care of me. And when I say worry about my neighbor, that's in jealousy, meaning like who's she with? Who's my ex-girlfriend with? Who's that Instagram person that has more Instagram followers than me? Who's that person doing better than me, has more money than me? Who's that prettier person? Let go and let God. Just let go. And when I say God, I do not mean, religious Jesus Christ. And it could possibly be that for you. But for me, there's a higher power out there. There has to be. In the universe, the energy is more evolved. There's something guiding us. And if we tap into it, it's a whole nother experience. So that's what I mean by that. So that's how I first start to lower the inflammation of the stress and anxiety in your head.
Yes.
And then you go into your meditation with that. You say those mantras, you use them every day, like I do. I say those things. And then you start to, the best way to lower the inflammation in your mind is to cultivate your connection to a higher power.
Love
So
that.
I met a guy, his higher power was the ocean. And I'm like, how could your higher power be the ocean? And he's like, well, I'm a surfer, most at ease, and there's nothing more powerful than the ocean. The life that it gives, the strength that it has, the ability to destroy and create. And it's like my higher power is the ocean. So if the ocean isn't getting upset about something, I'm not. It's
I love that.
The higher power, yeah. So the best way to lower stress in your life is to cultivate your connection to a higher power. It's not all about you now. It becomes about something bigger.
I love that. That's so powerful. And I like that because that helps to let go of the comparison trap that we fall into with social media and seeing what other people are doing, what other people have that we don't have, or that we may not have that we want. That's so true, to just let go of the attachment, surrender. That's the opposite of how we're ever going to cultivate any of those things in our lives. And that's what I try to remind myself when I am having one of those days where I can't get out of bed and I see people running or I see people who have all this health that I feel like I don't have. That's the one thing that I can find myself getting really mad about and jealous.
I feel you. That's hard, isn't it?
Yeah, but getting jealous, envious, comparing yourself, those are very low feelings. We're never going to heal that way. It's like detaching from a high vibrational state. So that's a really good tip. So how's your health now?
Well, I walk with a limp. I have low balance. I have pain in my body. But someone would see compared to what I was, I'm physically not as strong. And living in pain really stinks, But in regard to my strength, I'm much stronger, meaning emotionally, physically, I can go through a lot. And a lot of other things are under control, like those things that you couldn't control, like not being able to sleep or sweating or all those crazy things that happen with Lyme's disease or multiple sclerosis. Those things are under control. Mm-hmm. But, and some things I just have to accept, I'm probably not going to run again, or I could be walking through the airport and fall down in front of a crowd of people. And that could happen. And you know what? I'm just going to pick myself up and keep going because I'm grateful that I can walk. Mm-hmm. And I'm grateful that my body is so strong that even through this trauma, I'm still as strong as I am now. I say that a lot. It's like, okay, it may not be pretty what I'm doing, but I'm doing the work of an Olympic athlete every day just to walk up that hill.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy and so grateful that my body was at one point in such good shape that this has only deteriorated it to where I am today.
Yes. That's so true. I love what you said in your TED Talk when you felt like you weren't feeling your best and you were upset about it, or you wished that you had been further along in your healing. And then your friend told you you're walking so well today and your balance is so great. It's just that little shift in perspective sometimes to realize we've come so far. And that's such an important thing to focus on.
Right. And you know what? And it's relative, right? I may not be like, I'm not dancing. I miss dancing. That's true. I miss dancing, but like I may not be like gracefully dancing across a dance floor, but for where I am, I can't compare to that. So I can compare to me. And so I can like be good with it or not. And that's kind of what will keep you healthy. And that's not to say be apathetic. Like you're doing all the right things and you're going to have some bad days. And you're going to work through those too. And you know what? You don't have to be grateful for those. You can be like, this sucks. And I'm allowed to think it sucks. And let me just get that out. But the fact that you don't stay in that place and you move on and you're still grateful and you're going and using what you've experienced to help other people, that is like kind of the true, that's what a hero is.
Yeah.
So you're doing good work.
I agree. Well, so are you. It's amazing. Thanks. So let's talk about your role at IIN. We have this very special health coaching program. I did it 6 years ago, totally changed my life, set me on this path of having a wellness brand. And as we talked about on the webinar, I never really practiced health coaching. I did for a little while when I lived in New York, but I really took what I learned and just infused it into what I do with blogging, podcasting, writing, all that stuff. So for people thinking about doing IIN, what kind of information could you give them about the program and the various things that they would learn?
I've gotten a lot of emails lately from people like saying, I'm in finance, and I want to change my career. I can't take this stress anymore. Is this the right time? Or like, I'm a yoga instructor. Will this help me? Or, so what I can say about IIN, it's going to give you an opportunity to do other things that you may like more with your life. It's going to give you a launching pad to say, okay, I know what I want to talk about on a podcast, or I know what book I should write, or I know how to coach one-on-one individuals or do group coaching. We've had students that have started food lines, wellness centers, go to work in doctors' offices, because you learn so much. You learn the primary foods, which are about your career, your purpose in life, your relationships, your spirituality, and like living with love. And then you learn all about nutrition, 100 different dietary theories, all about from 85 different people, everybody from Deepak Chopra to Mark Hyman, exactly like how you need to eat. But then we give you the skills to coach people. Like, here is a health intake that you should go through with a client. Here's how you set up your business. We give you the website and all the skills that you need. So live events and coaching calls that we do with people. So it's just an amazing experience. Everybody from different walks of life, 175 different countries, 150,000 graduates, because this is kind of like the most well-known and most prestigious school to go to.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of celebrity people in the community that you get to kind of be on the Facebook chats with and go to the live events with when they open again. Hopefully, we're planning a lot for next year. But it's such an awesome experience. There's been no one that walked away saying, I wasn't enlightened, or I don't feel great now, or I don't know what to do. Because you have a path. You all of a sudden have a path, what to do next.
I totally agree. It's been fun seeing people in my community sign up, people from the Balanced Blonde community who have signed up for the spring session and telling me how much it's changing their life. And they're starting to take on some health coaching clients and just kind of practicing. And that's been so cool to see. And it's just exciting to give people another opportunity for following their dreams. Because whether you want to be a health coach, or whether you want to be a blogger, or whether you want to start a food line like Sakura, it's so cool to see what so many different IIN grads have done. And for me, I decided to do it 6 years ago because I wanted to, I already had this wellness blog, but I wanted to have some credibility. Like when people said to me, how do you know what you're even talking about with nutrition? rather than saying, well, I've just been obsessed with it for like a decade, which kind of also gives you a lot of knowledge. I did this amazing certification program. I learned so much. And it's amazing, I think, to learn about so many diets that are different from your own. So when people say things to me about like, oh, well, you're a vegan, you might not get this, or this, or this in your diet, I can say, I know. I've actually tried it all. I've learned it all. I've tried it all. This is an educated decision. So yeah, it's enhanced my life in a lot of different ways. It's a really special community.
Yeah, it will enhance your life, and then it will really help you become the change in the world. It will set your soul on fire, and then it will allow you to set other souls on fire.
Yes.
Just like you're doing with your podcast. It's like amazing.
That's the ultimate goal. So, so how long is the program? I mean, I know that's a big question people have. Like how many hours will
12
they spend
months
per week? Mm-hmm.
There's a 12-month program, and the same program you can do it in 6 months, but it's a lot more work per week. So the good thing about the program is that now it's online. 99% of it is online. Some of it's via the phone or Zoom. So you're in live coaching calls with your groups. You can do it anywhere, and it's about 10 hours a week for 12 months. And then you're certified by IN, which is licensed by the state of New York, Department of Education. So it's a real thing.
Yeah, it's very real. And so people can have a job and do this on the side? That's a big question I get, is like, should I leave my job and pursue this? And people can really do both. Like it's not a full-time job.
You can do both. That's the beauty of this. You can do both. Now, if you are in a financial place where you could leave your job and just focus on this, good for you. Do that. That's fantastic. But I don't recommend that you just quit your job and try to figure out how to make a living while going to school. Do both. We built this program in the curriculum and structured the hours and how we open up the modules and how we schedule the coaching calls based on someone who's probably working a job.
Mm-hmm. I like that. So it's a combination of nutrition, business, a bit of spirituality, which we love. But I do like people to know that they will learn a lot when it comes to nutrition, because that seems to be a big question. People ask me, like, what will they really learn? And like you said, they're learning from top teachers, mentors, doctors,
right,
all over the world.
Yeah, functional and integrative medicine. We teach very much food as medicine. So which foods to eat for what. We teach 100 different dietary theories. We talk about vegan, vegetarian, keto, but there's 97 more. So we talk about specifically crowding out, which means like, okay, so someone should just stop all this today and like go to cold turkey, no sugar, no bread, no whatever today. So crowding out is a theory that we talk about, like just start adding in these foods. We talk about the importance of water, and we talk about bio-individuality, meaning one thing may be right for one person, but not for everybody. So you're bio-individual. And we talk about this stuff with Frank Lipman, Mark Hyman, Dr. Andrew Weil. So all the folks. So then once you kind of get set with that, we then teach you how to actually be a coach, how to go out and help someone, how to change someone. Mm-hmm. So that's super important. And like Gabby Bernstein will teach you how to do things that she's done, and I will help you along the way. So there's a lot of different things.
Yeah, that's so cool. Well, I highly recommend the program to everybody listening. They can also get $2,000 off their tuition with the link that we'll leave in the show notes, the Balanced Blonde link, or if you just say that Jordan referred you, which is pretty cool. So,
Jordan, you know what else we can do now too? Specifically for your people, we'll give $1,500 off a payment plan. Ooh. So, yeah. So it used to be a lot less than that. So you can now offer $1,500 a payment plan off of your people because you're doing a great job as a grad, and we don't want finances to stand in the way of this. So if someone can't afford it, they really want to do it, we'll get a payment plan that works for them, and we'll take money off.
So
if they can't pay in full. Yeah, if you can pay in full, better just pay it. It's better off for your financial health. If get it over with. But if you want to do a payment plan, we'll still give monthly installments with $1,500 off to the folks that you refer, the friends of Jordan.
Woohoo! Our awesome TBB tribe, the best people ever. I love that.
Yeah.
That's such an amazing offer that you guys have. I love it. So
good.
Before you go, tell us one tip for people looking to set their souls on fire.
Okay, guys. Sleep on the opposite side of the bed. That's my tip. That's my leaving the tip. So we get into these ruts in life, right? And all of a sudden our creativity goes down. And it's like, well, I'm not feeling creative. I'm not feeling connected to higher power. I'm not, so two things. We can build neural pathways by changing our routines. Everybody's like, get a routine, get a routine, get a routine. Yes, a routine is good to start something. A routine is good to get in the habit of something, right? But we need to continue to change and grow. And it starts with these small, minute, mundane routines that we do. So if you've been sleeping in the same little divot on the same side of the bed, it will actually grow new neural pathways by waking up in a different instance every morning. So the two things that I say is start brushing your teeth with the opposite hand and go to bed, switch sides with your partner. It will be uncomfortable and you'll wake up and things will start being different. Your brain will start firing different. And it's these small changes. You don't have to always do big changes. It's these small changes that will lead to big things.
That is incredible. Wow. Okay, that's crazy that when you said sleep on the opposite side of the bed, my instant reaction was like, I could never do that. I could never do that. But it's such a simple change. I'm going to try it. My husband...
Research neural pathways, growing neural pathways.
Okay.
Growing new neural pathways. It's like really interesting stuff and small things can do that.
Yeah. Wow. Cool. That's such a good tip. We've never gotten that one before. So where can everyone find you?
You can find me at Nutrition School on Instagram. If you want to find me personally, it's at Jim Curtis 1 on Instagram, or I'm all over the internet. But mostly I tell people just follow us at Nutrition School or come check me out on my Instagram page every now and then at Jim Curtis 1.
Love it. And everyone should watch your TED Talk. That was such a good way to start the day today. I love it. All about synchronicities and signs. Thank you so much for coming on. This was such a good conversation.
Thanks for having me, Jordan. It's always great to talk to you. Yeah, have a great day.
You too. All right, guys, I hope you loved this episode with Jim Curtis. I was so inspired by everything he talked about with the anti-inflammatory mindset. We talk a lot about the anti-inflammatory diet on The Balanced Blonde. We talk about alkaline diets. We talk about healing treatments, stem cells, food, all the things. But sometimes what we really need is to work on our mind. Everything starts in the mind. Jim is such a huge inspiration for that. And if Jim can live a happy, fulfilled, successful, healthy, all the things life, and he also still, has trouble walking and balancing like he says, then we all can find the joy in our life despite the pain we have, despite chronic illness that we have, any and all of those things that we suffer from. We all have something, whether it's physical or mental or emotional or in our families or whatever it may be. So I am incredibly inspired by him. So happy to know him and to have had him on the show. So definitely take this opportunity to check out IIN. Their summer session is fabulous. It just started a couple days ago, so you can absolutely get in on it and not be behind. Doing it changed my life, really threw me into this business in the most fabulous way. And I'm so grateful for it. And I'm so grateful for the kind people at IIN like Jim, who just inspire me to no end. So check out IIN, go to integrativenutrition.com/thebalancedblonde to take a free sample class and to get $2,000 off of your tuition. If you feel inspired to rate and review the podcast on iTunes, I would love that. I would be so grateful. And I will send you my free yoga ebook as a thank you. So send me your rating and review to jordan@thebalancedblonde.com. And lastly, thank you to our lovely sponsors, Organifi, Green Juice, and Public Goods. So you can find those discount codes, links, etc. in the show notes. You can join our Soul on Fire podcast tribe on Facebook to keep the conversation going, chat with friends, meet friends all over the world. And with that, I hope everyone has an absolutely lovely Soul on Fire day. Try sleeping on the other side of the bed tonight. That was such a good tip from Jim. I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to be trying that, and I will report back. Talk to you guys soon. Sending you so much love. Mwah.